Welcome to Habit Bliss, a community platform that focuses on conscious transformation through habit development. I'm your host, Joy Fejoku, your resident habit hacker, and in today's video, we're going to talk about 3 things that you can do to help you cope during uncertain times. And before we get to that video, please don't forget to click the subscribe button. Also click bell notifications just to make sure that you get notified as soon as new content is released. Make sure to comment in the comment section, let us know what you think about the video, and also share what you'd like to see in the future. We do look at the comments to determine the content that we create. With that, let's get to the content. So, how is 2020 treating you so far? How are you coping? Is it fun yet? Are you having a good time? Because if you're like the rest of us, then you're probably looking at 2020 like, what are you doing? And that's pretty typical. It's a little crazy right now. If you would have told me last year that 2020 would look like this, I would have thought you were crazy. And yet here we are. And even in the midst of this craziness, even in the midst of this storm, guess what? We still have goals to achieve. We still have dreams to chase. We still have our lives to live, and we still need to make progress. So even though this is ridiculous, we have to figure out how best to thrive, how best to cope in this moment. And that's what this video is about. If you're having a hard time, or if it comes and goes, the hard time that you're having, then I want to share some tips with you to make it a little bit easier to help you cope in this moment of uncertainty. Here are a few tips to help you out when you're feeling a bit uncertain. The first tip that I want to share with you is to become more comfortable with uncertainty. Uncertainty is very much a part of life, and learning to become more comfortable with it will help you out not just now, but throughout the rest of your life as well. Because while this moment is clearly uncertain, and while in this moment we have no idea what next month or next year is going to look like, eventually this moment will pass, and we will get back to our regularly scheduled programming, so to speak, our regular lives. And the thing is, even in that space, in your regular life, uncertainty is always going to be there. It's always part of your story. So this is a great time to practice becoming comfortable with uncertainty. Uncertainty is not an unknown. It's not an X factor. It's very much a certainty. So use this time to practice. Now, how to do this? The first way to do this is to become more present. Get more present, get comfortable with the present moment and focusing on the present moment, as opposed to focusing on the past, or as opposed to focusing on the future. Obviously, the past, that doesn't help you, and the future can very well bring on feelings of fear because of uncertainty. So focusing on what you can do in the present moment to make your circumstances more stable, to make your circumstances feel more secure, is your best bet. Another suggestion to help you get comfortable with uncertainty is to question your fear. What I mean by this is, you can, instead of running away from it, you can accept it, but in a neutral way. So instead of taking the energy of fear, which kind of limits you, maybe become more skeptical, maybe become a bit of a devil's advocate. Look at the reason for your fear, be a little bit curious about it. If that doesn't fully eliminate the fear, at least doing so will help you diminish the amount of fear that you get. And that's another way that you can use to become more comfortable with uncertainty. And the final suggestion that I have for you to become more comfortable with uncertainty is to get comfortable with accepting the inevitable. So after you've done all that you can, after you have, focused on the present moment and done everything in the present moment to make sure that you put yourself in the best circumstances, the best situation, after you have questioned your fear, and so you've released whatever negative energy that you can related to that, after you've done everything that you can, there's not much more that you can do. And to just be okay with that is another thing that you can give yourself that will help you get comfortable with uncertainty. The next tip I have for you to cope with uncertainty is to focus on the things you can control. And that also means to move away your focus from things that you don't have control over. So in this moment, things like, when is the next time I can travel to the UK, right? Or even when is the next time I can have dinner with my family and friends at the restaurant of our choice? Well, right now, those types of thoughts are going to, at the very least, make you feel anxious, make you feel uncertain. We don't know when the next time is. It's much better to focus on the things and find things to focus on that we can control. Why is this? This is because we do like predictability. Human beings like predictability. We do like certainty. And so creating as much certainty in your life as you can in this moment will help balance out the certainty that you don't have, right? It'll help balance out the uncertainty that you feel by adding more certainty in places where you can. So how do we do this? The first suggestion that I have is to take inventory on the controllable factors in your life. This is as it relates to your friends, as it relates to your family, as it relates to your work, your health, so on and so forth. In these spaces, what can you control? What can you add control to in these areas of your life? Once you've done that, my second suggestion is to go ahead and add more control to your life. So that could look like, in the area of health, going on a diet, right? The diet that you've been wanting to go on for a long time, but you haven't. This is a great time to make the decision to do that, because you know that that is something you can control. And within a relatively short period of time, you can see benefits and rewards as it relates to doing that. In the area of family, maybe instead of calling your mother or your sister once every so often, you can decide to call them once a week or once a day to check on them and see how they're doing in this particular time. That would be something that you would definitely see benefits from as well. By adding more control to your life in these ways, it will help you balance out the amount of certainty that you have to uncertainty that you don't have in your life currently. And this is a way to help you cope with that uncertainty by adding more. The final tip that I want to share with you for coping with uncertainty is to start a routine that actually introduces more certainty into your life. This is a great time to take advantage of the tips that we discussed earlier in this video and put it into a routine form so it makes everything much easier to execute. This way you have organization and predictability. This is why routines work, because it actually doubles down on the amount of certainty that you're giving yourself. So all of these disassociated tasks that you would otherwise do randomly or maybe not, if you put it in a routine form, it makes it easier to complete, it makes it more predictable, and therefore you have more certainty. This is great. Okay, so how do we do that? The first thing that we can do is to create a morning routine. A morning routine is a great way to prepare yourself for the day in your most optimal way, right? So a morning routine not only will introduce an additional level of certainty and predictability, but it will also prepare you to be at your best, thoughts at your best, whether you have a self-care morning routine or a morning routine that's dedicated to promoting the specific goals that you're trying to achieve. That is one way to not only focus on the present in the most optimal way, but also increase the amount of certainty that you're adding to your life, which is the point. Another kind of routine that you can add to your life is a nightly routine. A nightly routine will prepare you for the next 6 to 8 hours of sleep, which has a great effect on tomorrow, right? It has a great effect on how you start the new day, the thoughts that you're thinking before you go to sleep, the fact that you are powering down so that you don't have, your phone or different types of social media all up in your face before you go to sleep, preparing yourself for sleep. That's a great thing to give yourself. And having the routine, creating it in routine form, will add predictability to your life, consistency, so on and so forth. And if you don't want something so structured, then just create daily tasks. It doesn't have to be so structured where it's at a certain time of the day. You could just have daily tasks that you know every day, these are the list of 10 things that I have to get accomplished. And doing so, again, creates order, predictability, all things that will help create more certainty in your life, which is what we're trying to do to alleviate some of the uncertainty that we don't have control over. All these tips are meant to help you add more certainty into your life while helping you cope with the uncertainty that currently exists. And the goal of these tips is also to teach you beyond this point how to cope with uncertainty in your own life, because as we know, this too shall pass. But beyond this point, our lives include uncertainty. We need to, it's always a good idea to become better at handling uncertainty. It will help us in this moment and far beyond this moment. So just to recap, what to do with uncertainty or how to cope with uncertainty, lean into it. Your ability to lean into uncertainty, as we just said, will increase your ability to cope with whatever circumstances, rough circumstances, trials and tribulations you may be going through at any point in your life. The next tip is to add more control, take advantage of the things that you can control in your life. Find ways to add more control into your life and then do that. You'll find that when you go through that process, there is a lot of room to take control of things in your life, probably far more room than you're willing to even take reins on, which is fine. But what will end up happening is you'll be able to add enough control into your life that will make you feel like you have control of your life, even in this weird and uncertain moment. And lastly, start a routine. A routine in your life breeds predictability. It adds to certainty. And this is a great way to incorporate all the tips that we talked about, and a great way to help you cope with these uncertain times by doing so, by adding predictability. If you have any suggestions on how you cope in these uncertain times, how you're coping in these uncertain times, please share that in the comments section. We'd love to hear your recommendations. If you'd like to learn more about habit development, principles, and strategies, click the link in the description box that directs you to sign up for our newsletter. We produce content on a regular basis, and you can be one of the first people to know about the new content as it's released. Also, when we have new services and new products that we release, you can also be one of the first to know about that. Now, if you have a particular goal that you're trying to reach, or a habit that you're looking to develop, or maybe even get rid of, or if you are looking to take your personal growth journey to the next level, then also go to the description box and click the link for a complimentary private consultation with me. And we have a lot here at Habit Bliss. We have a lot of different ways that we work with our clients. We can discuss the ways that we can work to help you reach your goals. And if there's a way that works for the both of us, I would love to be a part of your journey. So just click the link in the description box for a private consultation, and we can get that process started. And to everyone else, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Again, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to like this video and comment your thoughts in the comment section. And with that, I will see you in the next video.